You know, for the life of me, I thought I talked about this one already, but apparently I didn't. So, we're late, but this is the Yellow Brick Road. This road has no fairy tale ending, deeply unsettling. And, despite what you might be thinking, the Yellow Brick Road does not involve the Wizard of Oz in any way, shape, or form. Except in name only, and possibly in inspiration. This is by Bloody Disgusting Secrets. I know nothing about that. Let's take a look at the back. It won some awards. Slam Dance Film Festival 2010. New York City Horror Film Festival 2010. Atlanta Film Festival 2010. Scream Fest Film Festival 2010. There's some companies here that I can't read because they always make the text dark. Let's take a lighter look here. We have The Collective, Bloody Disgusting, Points North Films, and AMC Independent. Written and directed by Andy Mitten and Jesse Holland. Lovely. Well, we don't care about any of that. Let's talk about the film itself. Yellow Brick Road involves a group of people who learn about a city. I believe it's New Hampshire. It's written in the back here, I think. Yes, the entire population of Friar, New Hampshire in the year 1940 completely disappeared. The entire population just left everything that they owned behind. It all left off on this little hiking trail leading off into the woods. They never came back, and they were never found. Strange. You'd think they'd take a helicopter traveling along the Yellow Brick Road, or whatever they call it, to find all of these people, but no, they were never found. This is an independent horror film. It's very low budget. They did the best that they could with trying to explain the story they wanted to tell. Perhaps they did take planes and helicopters and all sorts of aircraft to fly across this hiking trail, and they found nothing. Because, theoretically, the path that this group of people traveled on should have had an ending, but there was no ending. This group of people went to Friar, New Hampshire, learned about the place. They were making a little film documentary, kind of like the Blair Witch Trials movie, where they wanted to make a documentary about the Blair Witch and all that other crap, so they literally go to wherever this place in the woods is with the witch and chronicle their discoveries, and problems ensue. You never see the Blair Witch, but people disappear one by one. Here there is no Blair Witch, there is just the Yellow Brick Road, and this group of people travel along this Yellow Brick Road. They find the entrance of this mountain trail, and they go along it to see if they can find the people of Friar, New Hampshire, the people who disappeared in 1940. They want to discover what happened. Where does this road lead? And the road doesn't really look like a road. It looks like a little mountain trail, as you can see here. That doesn't look yellow. Let's try to put a light on here. No, it's not yellow. It's not yellow at all, as you can see. Excuse me. But this group of people, I can't tell you everybody's names. I think there's two couples, a professor man, a native of the New Hampshire town, people who came here after 1940. There's a native that they got along as some sort of tour guide or whatever, and some other people. They're inconsequential. A lot of these people are inconsequential. The main character is the only main important person. The main character is some dude whose name I can't remember, and I don't know who plays him either. So if you want to find any of that out, you feel free to look this crap up. I know I'm sounding like this film feels like a very bland film, but it's really not. It's very interesting and thought-provoking. It's just the characters in it aren't the interesting part of the film. It's the idea behind the Yellow Brick Road that I found interesting. The people in it are very inconsequential. The dialogue that everybody talks about is inconsequential. Everything that everybody says is inconsequential, which is ironic and how interesting the film actually is. These people are traveling along Yellow Brick Road. Days and days and days are passing. They're running out of food. They're running out of stuff. And they make documentaries. They get each member of this hiking crew together, and they film interviews with them. They ask this doctor man that they have alongside them, chronicles their mental cognitive faculties. And as they go along this trail, their mental capacities, their faculties, diminish more and more and more over time. And there seems to be some sort of music playing out in the distance. Classic music that's either public domain or something. They picked something that was public domain, probably, because it feels really old-timey, like 1920s, 1910s, and probably anything from that period is going to be public domain by now. That music was playing on some sort of invisible speaker. There was no speaker to be found anywhere. They looked for it, but they couldn't find where this music was coming from. All that they could tell is that it was probably coming somewhere ahead of the Yellow Brick Road, so they had to keep traveling along the Yellow Brick Road to find the source of the music. But the music was starting to get to their heads. They were starting to fuck with them, and people were starting to go crazy. And as you can see here, somebody probably might have gone homicidal and killed a couple of these other people, and more and more people start to drop. They start to die. They start to distrust one another. Paranoia sets in. And the main character is the only one who seems hell-bent on getting through the Yellow Brick Road. Everybody else decides that they're done going down the Yellow Brick Road and they want to turn back. They want to go back home. But there is no home that they could go back to. All of their electronics stopped working the moment they got onto this Yellow Brick Road. Their compasses don't work. The only thing that they know for sure is that they can only go forwards. Because if they try to go backwards, they still end up forwards again. If they try to go sideways, they still end up forwards again. Any food that they find along the path, berries, they seem to be like drug trip berries. If you eat any of these berries, you'll go into a weird, trippy stuff. So some of these people eat the berries because they're so hungry, and they start to get tripped out, and then they eventually die out too. The main character dude, the main character man, eventually makes it through the Yellow Brick Road, and he passes out from what he sees at the end. And he wakes up in a movie theater. He wakes up at a movie theater, and he talks to one of the people there and says, "Did anybody else make it?" And he says, "No, you're the only one who made it." And he guides him to a theater, the little theater room, and the man says, "Sit down." And the main character man says, "But I have to look for my..." And the guy who works at the theater yells, "Sit down!" And so the main character man has to sit down and watch movies for the rest of his existence. That sounded interesting. It's very thought-provoking in a way that I have a lot of trouble describing. It's just a very interesting film in the veins of the Blair Witch Trials. It's not the whole first-person found footage camera type of film. It's not one of those, but it's in the vein of, hey, they had very little money to film this, but they still made something that's very interesting. Maybe you should check it out to find out what this is all about, because just talking about this is not going to do it justice. All I can tell you for sure is that I would recommend that you watch The Yellow Brick Road. To close out, let's read the back, shall we? In the fall of 1940, the entire population of Friar, New Hampshire abandoned their homes and walked up an ancient trail, never to be seen alive again. Their fates have remained a mystery for over 70 years, until a team of researchers discovered the trailhead and attempted to track the path to the doomed citizens of Friar Tuck. Starring Cassidy Freeman, Anessa Ramsey, and Lee Wilkoff, amongst others. Yellow Brick Road is a return to the slow-burn, character-driven horror films of the 1970s. At least that's what they claim. it does feel to be character driven because there's nothing that happens other than this group of people are traveling down this yellow brick road. So really the bulk, the strength of this film is through all of the character bantering. My problem is I couldn't think, a lot of the characters were not that interesting to me. They were interesting as I watched it, in the form of, hey, I'm watching this, I can't look away, this is very interesting, but it's not memorable in the vein of, hey, this is so good, I'm thinking about it days and days later, and I remember every single detail. It's not one of those films, at least not to me. It may be for you. The only thing I could say for sure is, you'll have to watch this to see for yourself. Be imaginative.